They say that, you can't make more time, but you could always make more money.
Time is the least renewable resource in the world, but money is the most renewable resource in the world. You can always make more money. So use your time wisely.
This podcast is for the rebels,
The misfits, the dreamers.
who really are sick of living on autopilot.
Every week, we strip away the excuses, we break the rules, we give you bold, actionable strategies.
So you can crush your habits that hold you back,
Ditch the job you hate.
build a life that you actually want to wake up to.
No fluff,
No permission slips,
just real talk, proven tools, and a healthy dose of rebellion.
to help you break free and rise higher and own your next chapter.
This isn't just a podcast, it's an escape plan.
If you are sick of just following status quo, you have just found your people.
Hi, welcome to the 3 Seconds of Guts podcast. I'm Melissa Lewis. This is my awesome co-host, Tom Scarda. Tom and I have been friends for, 25 years or so. And we are here today to talk to you about the cost of waiting. So we
Yeah.
always think about the cost of risk, right? What
So
does the cost of waiting mean?
to me, the cost of waiting is kind of the value proposition losing steam over time.
Hmm.
So you can buy a house today, and 20 years from now, you'll have X amount in equity. You could wait 5 years, and you'll have 5 years less equity in that house 20 years from now.
Yes.
Why did you wait? If you have the money to buy, if you have the down payment, of course. But if you're ready to go, why wait? The reason you wait most likely is based in fear of the unknown, I bet.
Yes. Fear of the unknown, fear of taking a risk, fear of things not going your way. And that's what we always think about is the risk. But what's the risk of waiting? Because if you don't make a change, you incur risk as well. No matter what, there's risk involved. It's just which risk you're choosing.
Right.
So what are some of the key points? If you've grown to a part of your life and you want to make a change and you decide not to, what's the cost of that?
Yeah, the cost could be physical, like you feel, I don't know, less than in your mind mentally, but it could cost you physically in health. And instead of being out there making things happen in life, you're at home sulking, like I wish I could have, I should have. Man, how many times did I hear my grandfather had the opportunity to be one of the first McDonald's franchisees and he passed on it.
Yeah.
Like I hear that all the time. So many
I
people were going
think,
to buy franchises from McDonald's 50 years ago, and only like 4 people did, I guess.
I think everybody has a story or a family story of like, I had the opportunity to buy into whatever it was. Ours was a parking lot garage in Manhattan. My dad still tells that story. Well, you didn't, right? But when
Right.
you said physical, I thought self-confidence is a big one, right? Because when you want something and you don't do it, the first risk of that is you start to kind of wear on your self-confidence because keeping promises to yourself is the best way to build self-confidence. So if you really want something and you don't go for it, you kind of strip away at your soul a little bit. So that's a great one. There's also, go ahead.
I just want to, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting because you hit on something that really kind of hit me. So like your dad's family didn't buy the parking garage. Somebody did, right? And that person did really well. Why did they decide to do it, but your dad's family didn't?
Right.
It was fear of risk.
Mhm.
And somebody else felt like, I'm going to take this risk. I don't know if it's going to work out. They might outlaw cars someday in New York, which they're trying right now.
They might. So, however many years later, it wouldn't work. But up until then, it probably would have.
Right. For the past
Yes.
50 years.
No, I think that's a great point. And, that brings up the self-confidence because sometimes you need self-confidence to actually say, no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. And that's how you start to take risks is you start to build your self confidence that I trust myself. I know
Yeah,
I'll be okay. I know
I
I'm going to
totally,
pivot because this decision of whatever it is for you, the key is that you pivot along the way.
yeah,
It's That's what an entrepreneur does is it's not always going to be perfect and hand to you in a, perfect box with a bow on it, right? It's usually pretty dirty and messy, but you trust yourself and you get going.
yeah. I mean, I just did a video recently about my grandfather when he immigrated from Italy and he went into the ice business. And it was great because it's built in repeat business. You need ice every day for your ice box. So I'm going back, right? One day, somebody, and my grandfather cursed him to his dying day, invented the refrigerator, put him out of business. So he was also delivering coal. And then somebody invented the oil burner. So you didn't need coal anymore. Put him out of business again.
Yeah.
He pivoted. He went into oil. He bought one truck. He ended up building a mini empire in Brooklyn, New York, doing home heating oil. Then they came out with natural gas, put him out of business again in the 80s. I
So he
mean,
just picked it up,
and
knocked
he
down back up.
pivoted, went into air conditioning. I mean, you just, I mean, it's crazy, but you can do that and it's exciting and you make a lot of money. You learn about yourself, or you can just push papers at a cubicle and retire, hopefully, if you don't
But
get
you're
laid
right.
off.
He was evolving. He was learning new skill sets. This is so on target. No, I don't know how many years ago that was, but today's world with AI and just technology and things happening in corporate America, things are changing,
Yeah.
right? So, how are you going to be ahead of that and be ready for that? Because that's what's keeping people is they're afraid, right? They're feeling secure and the challenge, one of the costs of waiting is kind of the golden handcuffs is the comfort. The longer
Right.
you stay somewhere, the more risk that you are encountering. We always think it's the opposite, but the longer you're an employee and the more money you make, the easier it comes to cut that off of a spreadsheet
But
and the harder it becomes to make a change.
yeah, absolutely. And you taught me something 20 years ago that I still share with my candidates. And it was the first day on your job is the safest day. Every day you're there, it gets less and less safe because you become vulnerable for a layoff.
Yeah.
Your first day in a business is the most unsafe day, and it gets safer and safer as you build a customer base.
Every single day. You build a customer base, you build equity, you start to have cash flow, you know what you're doing, you expand. I
And
always have a mental image of a bullseye. And the bullseye as an employee, it gets bigger on your back. We always think we're more secure, but come on, we're watching the layoffs, we're watching the emails at 3 a.m. and the things that break my heart to see people going through this.
yeah,
But the world's changing. So you want to get ahead of that and at least start taking a step or learning about something else.
one thing they say is that there's two definites in life: death and taxes. And I totally disagree. Death, yes, no one evades that, but you don't have to pay taxes. I mean, you might go to jail, but you don't have to pay taxes. The thing that is inevitable along with death is change.
Oof,
So once you can embrace change and pivot,
you're
which is your
unstoppable.
point, now you got something you could deal with. But
Yeah.
if you sit there as a sitting duck in your golden handcuffs, sooner
Yes,
or later change is coming for you.
it is coming. And I think that's a great thing of being able to adapt and adapt to change. So I realized something about myself when I would have change coming, and this is anything in my life, I still do this. I think change is worse. And I think there's a commonality in humans that if there's change coming, we think it's going to be worse than what we're typically going through. But I challenge that because I actually believe that it's actually usually better, but we're afraid of it just because we're afraid of something being different, but it's almost always better. So if we could all embrace that change means good coming, think of how unstoppable people would be.
And that's the thing. If you could stop and be grateful for change when it happens, as terrible as it feels in the moment, then it won't be that detrimental to your well-being and your mental health, because when God closes one door, he opens a window, and that whole we all heard that. And it's true. I could tell you examples. My daughter was 9 months pregnant. Literally 2 weeks before her due date, she gets laid off,
Oh,
and she was devastated. I mean, it was like a death in the family, it really was. And she fought them because it's like, this is unfair. I'm going on maternity leave,
right.
and they're
No,
like,
it's
oh, we're going to give you, she gets 6 months maternity, and they were giving 4 months severance. So they said, well, we'll give you the 4 month severance. She said, no, you're going to give me the 4 and the 6, or you're going to give me 10 months. If you're going to lay me off at 9 months pregnant, that's what you're. And they ended up doing that because they knew that it would look bad if they didn't. And so this whole thing where she was hysterical about, they gave her 10 months of money, which was a down payment for a new home that they just bought. And she just got a job for $40,000 more than she was getting paid at the last job.
Change is better. But
She-
you guys also raised a woman who knows her worth and spoke up. And something to be said about that, because you have to know your worth and what you are worth, and be the only person to be able to really reward yourself for that. And
Yeah.
that's a big one. We kind of wait around with corporate America telling us where we're going to live or what our job title or how much money we're worth. But what if you defined your worth? What if you changed that? What if you doubled it? What if you just started today saying, I'm worth twice as much as I make today? What would you feel like? How would you act? What would you do? That's an easy thing that you can do without doing anything on the external side, but just working through some of the internal work.
It's so well said. Oh my goodness. But I have to say that people are stifled by dogma and what they're told and what they think they're worth. There's an old story where a a company ran an ad, two different ads for the same job, one at 60,000 and one at 90,000 a year compensation. 80% of the applications came in for the $60,000 and not the 90. Why? Because people were like, oh, if I take the night, that means they're probably going to want more from me, or I'm not worth that. And it's like, it's so crazy, but it's actually a true study that they did. Um, and so
That's crazy.
it
The
speaks to
three
how people.
seconds of guts that you use can be external in your life, but it can be internal. It can start to push some of the records, the tapes, the whatever we have of what we believe about our life, our job, our worth. And if you start to just push those boundaries a little bit each day, what if you spent 5 minutes a day and said, what would my life look like if I made twice as much money, or if I was in control of my schedule,
Hmm,
or if I lived where I wanted to, or if I picked my kids up from school, or we took the dream vacation, whatever it is, what would that do for you?
right. And write that out. So that would be sort of a challenge that I would give, and we could give on this podcast right now. Is some people often come to me and to you, and they're like, I want to buy a franchise. Okay, why? I want to make more money. Okay, great. What are you going to do with that money? Well, I just need more money. Well, not to pay the bills and not for a Ferrari. What are you going to do with that money? And then if you could articulate that, now you have a reason to go into business. But you need that why.
You need that anchor. You need that faith for sure.
Yeah.
And the people that I have worked with over 22 years of helping them become franchise owners who have accomplished great things, they told me up front what they were going to accomplish. They knew where they were going, why they were going, and why it was important to them, because they knew what they were worth. So even if you push those boundaries and say, I don't know if I'm worth this yet, but I know I want it, write it down, read it, spend some time on it, meditate on it, think of it, visualize it, feel it, because that's how you're going to go and get to your dreams and your goals, is by starting internally and then externally. So your 3 seconds of guts can actually be internal of pushing your boundaries.
So maybe that is the answer, that people are stifled because they don't know where they're going. There's no why.
That's
Maybe
a good one.
that's it.
I mean, I was that way for a few years. And it was basically more in my head that, Melissa, you have so much. Why would you ask for more? So I
Mhm.
stopped dreaming. I stopped having goals. And that was a very sad place to be because I
Yeah.
didn't know my why. And I knew I needed to shake that up. And now each day has so much to it because I know where I'm going and why I'm going. And the doors that are opening are so incredible. But we're kind of taught to stop doing that, stop dreaming, stop asking for more. And I'm going to say today, start dreaming, start asking for more because you're 100% worth it.
It's totally worth it. And God wants you to do more. And you want to help people, you need money to do that. So start doing more. Push the envelope. Get excited about where you're going. And remember that when you talk to somebody who is 90 years old, they're sitting on their rocking chair, they never say they regret the things that they did do. They regret the things that they did not do.
Absolutely.
That's a scary, scary thought. Imagine just for a second that you, you know, you transition, you pass away, and you go to heaven, and then this is sort of biblical. God says, "Well, what did you do with your life?" And you're like, "I played it safe. I kept that job." And God was like, "Oh, remember when I put this opportunity in front of you and you said no? Why did you say no? Because you didn't have faith. You didn't trust yourself.
Faith over
Why
fear.
would you? You're already a winner, right? We talked about this a couple of podcasts ago. You already won the sperm race when you, right? I mean, it's kind of go from biblical to that, right? Um, but and they say that you know you can't make more time, but you could always make more money.
Time is the least renewable resource in the world, but money is the most renewable resource in the world. You can always make more money. So use your time wisely. We started today with the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, or to buy the parking garage or whatever it is. But the second best is today.
Today,
Yeah.
ahoy, right now, do it today. So this is great.
Today,
I'm
Lord.
I'm I'm inspired, Mel. You inspired me. I'm going to go out and buy a franchise, I think.
Right. Call me. Call us. We are here to help you guys with this. Even if you just want some books to read, you want to push the envelope, you want to be like, what do you guys read? Or, podcasts that you watch. We are here as a resource for you guys to take 3 seconds of guts, to push your boundaries, because life is so much better when you're living life, not thinking about it.
Yeah. Amen to that, Mel. That's so great. You inspire me so much. Thank you for letting me be your co-host.
Me too. I am so happy to be here. Thank you all. Please continue to share and like, subscribe, and give us feedback. We want to hear what you guys want to hear about. We have some awesome, awesome guests coming up that we're very excited about. So
Yeah.
we'll see you guys again soon.